Hello makers, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Mr. Suniga and we'll be using Onshape as a 3D designing tool or software to create a scissor arm. All the pieces or most of them are going to be first modeled in here, and then we're going to toggle between Adobe Illustrator, maybe Tinkercad in order to modify them and get the final product. Just to let you know, Onshape is a fairly professional 3D design software. It is web-based, so you don't need to download any app into your computer, which is fairly convenient. If you haven't used Onshape before, you can create a student account here. So you have access to it all the time. You might just need to use your school email to do so. But because since you're here in this course, you already have an account made for you. What you need to do is to go to this other website, ucls.onshape.com. Go to ucls.onshape.com and sign in with your Google account. If you click here, you'll be signing on with your school account, and that's it. They will bring you to your main page or your home page. So in order to get started, let's go into Documents. And in here, we're gonna go to Create, select Document. We're gonna call this Scissor Arm. And we're gonna hit Create. Now, kind of similar to Tinkercad, this is a 3D environment put on a 2D screen. So you have a 3D environment. I strongly encourage you to grab a mouse because with the right click, you'll be able to kind of like see all points of view of your pieces of your drafts or sketches. With the left click, you'll be able to select things. And with the scroll button, you can zoom in or zoom out. If you ever get lost in this environment, let's say you zoom in a different area, you can always give a right click to this white void, and click isometric, and it will bring you back to where like the origin is located. Look here that we have 3 planes to the top, front, or right. You can always look at the back of them, and you see also in the navigation cube, the back of the right plane is also the left plane, or is shown in here, at least on the navigation cube, as the left plane. That applies to all of them. The back side of the front is actually the back. The back side of the top view is actually the bottom view. So these planes are basically needed because we might use them as the starting points. Here in this software, we use sketches in order to then produce 3D models. Notice that here we have all the tools that we could use to make or produce edits to those 3D models. And also we have the sketch tool, which is the one we're gonna use constantly in order to create this what is gonna be like the instructions or the drawings, which from where the 3D models are gonna be based on. If at any point you want to stop seeing any of these views, you can do so by going here into the features menu or even the parts menu, and just kind of like hide them using this. So the first thing we're gonna do is to create the scissor link, or like the main part of the scissor arm mechanism. So this is just a bar with 3 holes distributed on its body. What we're gonna do is to first create a sketch, and we're gonna create it on the front view. So I clicked on the sketch. It's asking me to select a sketch plane. I'm gonna select front, and everything is gonna be here in the front view. I'm gonna click here front view on the front plane on the front view, and this will bring us like the direct view of that plane. these lines are the top and the top and the right view. So if you wanna get rid of them, you can just come here and kind of hide those two. So now what we're going to do is to create the sketch for the scissor length. So first we're gonna start by making a 3-point arc. Gonna start here, then gonna put another point in here, and then gonna leave it like that. By the way, in case we haven't done this or we haven't checked this, go into this menu, go to workspace units, and know that we're gonna be using millimeters as the length default units. If you have a different set of units, please move it to millimeters. This, by the way, got me out of the sketch mode, so I need to double click on the sketch, and we're back in here. How did I notice that? Because all the tools that are here in the toolbar are different. Now, these tools are for sketching, the other ones are for 3D modeling. Now, the next part is going to be making a line coming from here. And if I don't unselect this tool, still gonna try to make some extra lines. So I'm just gonna click unselect or hit the escape button. I'm gonna make another line coming from here. Let's say there. And then I'm gonna make another arc. And there. Now we have a shaded area, which is like an enclosed area here in this software. So now this shape is okay, but you notice that all the lines are in blue, and that means that whether the position or the dimensions of this drawing is not set in stone, it's not fixed. So it's better if we have it that way. Notice if I right click, left click any of this, I can change its position. I can change pretty much anything. Maybe this point is not moving because this is bound to be like touching what it could be, I guess, the right plane. But it's kind of like fixed to be horizontal according to the origin point, but the rest of it can be modified. So what we're gonna do first is to put some dimensions to these features, to these lines. And first, we're just gonna say that this line is gonna be 150 millimeters long. And same for this one. Now, since we have selected still the dimension tool, I'm gonna use it to make the radius of this arc to be 10 millimeters. And same for this one. Cool. Now we're gonna apply a constraint, which is a tool that helps us fix any of these features into certain positions. So I'm gonna use the horizontal constraint to this line. Notice how, because this is horizontal and this is part of like a bigger piece, this line is also horizontal. I'm gonna put a dimension between the origin and the center of that arc to also be 10 millimeters. And notice that once we've done this, I'm gonna select the dimension tool. Now we can modify the size, even if I try to move it with a left click. Now all the lines have turned black, all the points have also turned black, and now this is fixed in position and it has fixed measurements. So the next part will be adding the circles. first one I'm gonna make in here. Gonna make another circle, which origin or center is gonna be in this center point of the arc. Let's assign dimensions to those. It's gonna be 12 millimeters. And same for this one. And now we have to have a circle in the middle as well. So in order to get in there, I'm gonna make a line coming from here, going to the center. But this line we're not gonna use. I'm gonna hit click on the escape key in order to get out of that tool. And in order to get it to the center, since we already know that there's a 150 millimeters distance between the two circles, we're gonna make this to be half of that, so it's gonna be 75. But this line we're not gonna use. We just needed to for it to be the origin of this other circle that we're gonna apply in here. So in order to create a line that's gonna be used as reference, we're gonna turn it into a construction line. So this tool is gonna be applied to this line. Notice how the construction line means a dotted line, which again, it's not gonna appear into our model. And having done this, now we're able to make a third circle, which origin is this. And its dimension is also gonna be 12, just like the other ones. Cool, so now I can select OK. Everything is well defined. And now we'll be able to extrude all the shaded area in here, or rather just everything except for the areas inside these circles. So I click here. The depth of this is gonna be 10 millimeters. Notice how in the extrude option, we've selected this side or this face of the sketch. It's gonna be a solid piece, a 3D model. It's gonna be a new model. So it's not gonna be attached to anything else, which in this case, we didn't have anything else. And I'm just gonna click here on the symmetric option. So the body or this depth is gonna be distributed on the front and the back side of this plane. And there we go. We have our first model, and this is gonna be our first piece. In order to recognize it from the rest of them, I'm gonna click here on the parts menu. Now we have a part that we can right click, rename, and we're gonna call it the length. And in here, if you right click it, you can also assign changes in its materials or its appearance, which in this case, since this is gonna be end up made out of like wood or wood-like materials, like MDF, I'm just gonna select maybe it's orange for now. And that's it. That's our first part that we've modeled using Onshape. On the second or in the next part of the tutorial, I'm gonna explain how to make the joints, the pieces that are gonna be fixing these links all together.